Many weightlifters have argued on whether or not it is necessary to integrate creatine as a daily part of their supplementation for max performance in the gym. And the question especially arises for newcomers to weightlifting on whether or not they need to be taking creatine as well. Now, this should benefit everybody because I'm assuming everybody's in the military and we're all required to do PT. And what you guys will be learning from this is what creatine is, where it comes from, all the different kinds of creatine and the differences among them, and most importantly, how taking creatine as a daily part of your supplement can benefit you. Now, creatine is a natural occurring chemical compound found in the human body made up of 3 amino acids. And if you guys don't know what amino acids are, they're simple. All they do is break up proteins. Proteins are usually hard to break up, and that's where amino acids come in because they have enzymes that break down the proteins, deliver the nutrients to the muscles, which, if you don't have the amino acids, protein's being wasted and discarded from the body without being used properly. So, there are a total of 20 amino acids found in the human body, and the 3 found that are made up in creatine are arginine, glycine, and methionine. And basically all you guys need to know, to simplify this even more, creatine, when you're drinking it, it gives off its energy source, which is a phosphate known as a creatine phosphate, and it creates ATP in the muscle tissues. And all you guys need to know about ATP is it is energy. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. I made a chart for you guys to better understand this because it's hard to explain. So step 1, you drink your creatine, so you're drinking it. And step 2, like I said, once you drink the creatine, it gives off the creatine phosphate. Now, the creatine phosphate delivers itself to something called ADP, adenosine diphosphate, which only has 2 phosphates, and the creatine phosphate attaches itself in step 3. See, it's attaching itself, and now the ADP turns into ATP. And how this whole energy happens is step 4, it breaks off the creatine phosphate, which just attached itself, creating energy in the muscle tissues. So this cycle keeps continuing on and on and on until you run out of creatine, but it's always occurring anyways. Now, basically what you guys need to know where creatine comes from is 2 different sources. And the first source creatine comes from is from your red meats and fish, eggs, chicken, turkey, all that good stuff. The second source creatine comes from is from your own body. It produces about 1 to 2 grams of creatine a day. And where that creatine is being produced in is your kidneys, liver, and pancreas. Now, on average, you should be taking about 3 to 5 grams of creatine a day. And this depends on your body weight. And next, I'm going to be talking about all the different kinds of creatine and the differences among them. But I'm only going to mention 3 different kinds of creatine because there are over 22, and that would take way too long to talk about. Now, this first creatine, I believe every weightlifter should know about. It is called creatine monohydrate. I believe everybody should know about this because it is the most common creatine around. It has been around the longest, and it is the most researched creatine there is on the market. It's proven to work. That's because it's 88% pure creatine, 12% water. And you can't go wrong with creatine monohydrate. There are positives and negatives to it. The negatives are you have to load, which means loading for the first week ever taking creatine monohydrate, you have to take double the amount of grams for the first week, and then you go back to normal after that week. And then the next thing that's negative is you have to cycle on and off, which means you have to stop about, I would say, 8 weeks of taking creatine monohydrate. You just stop taking it for about maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and then you start it over again, which is kind of, I would think, exhausting, which I would say is negative. And also, creatine monohydrate creates creatinine in your body, which is useless. It's garbage. It's not being used, so it's being discarded as well, and it's not useful. And recently, they actually discovered a new creatine, the newest form of creatine, and it's supposed to be way more superior than the monohydrate. It is called creatine hydrochloride. Now, creatine hydrochloride is way more superior because it is, you don't have to load on it. You don't have to, You don't have to cycle on and off. You can basically take it for the rest of your life. I'm being a little exaggerative. You can take it as long as you want to, is all I'm saying. And you don't bloat. You know, you don't get all this water weight. And you know what's so good about it? It's 59 times more absorbent than creatine monohydrate, which is outstanding. And me personally, I've been taking it, and it just works phenomenal for me. You know, I can't believe it. It's the new king of creatines. You know, it is unbelievable. And it actually was discovered on accident in 2003 when they were making some creatine ethyl ester, which is another creatine, but they are two different complete creatines. So don't get them, you know, mixed up. They're two completely different creatines. And creatine hydrochloride is by far the most superior creatine so far. The next creatine I want to talk about is called creatine nitrate. The reason why this is so popular is because it is different from the other two I previously mentioned. Creatine nitrate, once you take it, it turns itself into creatine nitric oxide. What creatine nitric oxide does is it increases blood flow to your muscle tissues, which gives you a pump. It's hard to explain a pump for somebody who hasn't worked out before. A pump basically means your muscles are getting a little swole. You know, you're getting all this kind of energy. You feel good. You know, you're just pumped up. You know, it's that simple. That's exactly what it is. You're pumped up, and you have all this energy. Also, nitric oxide burns fat, and it uses it as energy, which is awesome. You know, you're only going to be using nitric oxide, I would suggest, right before your workout, because it gives you so much energy. It is awesome, and that's why it's different from the other two I previously mentioned. You know, but all these three creatines I mentioned are very beneficial, and they're awesome. And I believe they're the most important ones out of the 22. So that's why I mentioned them. Now, the benefits of taking creatine. It allows you to lift longer. It gives you more stamina and endurance in the gym. It allows you to actually sprint longer and faster, which is really cool. And not only does creatine help with physical stuff, it helps with other things as well. If, let's say, you're growing old of age and your muscles are deteriorating, creatine helps maintain that muscle, and it keeps it there. So if you're older, you can definitely benefit from taking creatine, and it helps. It helps your brain function. You know, it helps with memory, and it helps with bone healing. You know, so as you can see, creatine has so many benefits. It's unbelievable to not take it. You know, I would say if you've been working out for a while in the gym, you know, you're an experienced weightlifter, you definitely should be taking creatine. I don't know why not. Unless you're taking a steroid, you know, you don't need to be taking creatine, because a steroid basically overpowers the creatine's effects. And let's not be mistaken. Creatine is not a steroid. Do not mistake it as a steroid. A steroid is way more dangerous than creatine. Creatine isn't dangerous. The steroid, you know, you need to know your research. You need to ask a doctor before you even think about using one. And basically, you know, creatine, you just need to do a little research, and you know what I'm sharing with you, you guys, it's safe. It's safe to use, and it's beneficial. And you know, I believe creatine can be used by everybody. Now, also, was saying that if you're new to weightlifting, you can definitely take creatine. Yes, definitely. But I personally suggest you get the hang of it, of weightlifting first before you even think about it, and you learn about your own body. You learn how it works. You know, and then I say you can definitely go and take some creatine. You know, it's going to benefit you. And, you know, like what I'm sharing with you guys, before I ever take a new supplement, I make sure to study up on it. You know, you need to know all the ins and outs of the supplement you're taking. You know, you want to make sure that you're not hurting your body and you're benefiting it. You need to know exactly what you're putting into your body, and that is extremely important. You know, everyone should be confident after everything I've talked about whether or not it's safe for them to take creatine. And it definitely will benefit you guys, if not now, in the future, because I believe everybody eventually gets into, you know, physical activities and working out. You know, everybody gets that motivation eventually. And yeah, creatine is definitely for everybody, I believe. Most importantly, do not curl in the squat rack. Thank you.